No, that's supposed to be 2023. That's what we returned last year.
That was last year's total.
Last year.
June 30th.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry,
No, that's good.
typo. It's hard when you're working in 3 years. Sorry.
It was a question.
Hard to keep them straight sometimes.
That's okay. It was a question that came up and I couldn't give a,
Yeah,
I ask you all those questions because I don't know all those that well. So
that's okay. It's completely understandable. And that was me.
Thank you.
Because we are in 24, 25. So why wouldn't that be? So the next page, the general fund expenditures by objects code. I can get rid of that title. Forward. So as you can see, the salaries, so typically we show a lot more money left in there. What's happened this year is we have hired those people out of the contracted services. So that is now coming down lower, but you'll see that there's almost $300,000 left in the contracted services line further down, which is also causing the retirement lines to be over a little bit because those were not budgeted for. And the retirement line is pretty much close when we get to the end of the year. So right now we're showing that retirement line is about $14,000 over budget. But you can still see significant savings in health, course tuitions and workshops. But then at the bottom, and then you also have, we also have savings in student transportation at this point. So right now, the total general fund expenditures, we're showing $1.1 million. November, any questions on that? I'm sorry. I moved forward to the next page.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Professional student services right now, we're seeing estimated 188,787.
Not a decrease, just a savings right now.
That's what I meant. The
Yeah.
savings.
Yeah.
Sorry. How did you answer that? I'm sorry.
Not a decrease, it's a savings.
I said decrease, but
Yeah.
I meant savings. I meant savings.
Sorry.
Thank you. Anything else on expenditures?
Food service, I'm expecting to see, I don't know, maybe some changes in this department. You know, sometimes that happens when you get a new food service director. I'm not sure if we're gonna see an increase or decrease in sales at this point. She's only been here 3 weeks. But she's already talked about some ideas to increase sales as we move forward. I know she met with Terry and I last week. Terry's very excited about it. And then she's also talking about better ways to use the commodities that we get from the state and how we can utilize those better and spend those down and then offset what we buy. So that's where we are right now through November, but she literally started like 4 days. So that's where we're at for that.
So how much did we transfer? Have we transferred so far at this point? And actually, you would think after this many years, I would have put it.
So I'm gonna follow it because that line is
Yeah.
over, under. Total expenses and encumbrances. So I would say it's 225 minus that. So I would say right now we're $40,000.
We've contributed 140 or 60?
I would say 60.
Okay, thank you.
So we're
right,
40,000 under.
Huh?
So we're $40,000 under, yes.
I had a brain cramp. You had some,
I was saying we're moving the right direction on that then,
well, we'll hope negative. I mean, we're not zero, but yet we're not at the 100, which is
right,
of
yes.
course,
And we're
over
short,
time,
yeah.
the more lunches we serve, the potential is, and the more benefits and salaries that we expend, then the potential is there.
And we're short staffed again. So, I mean, we had like, right. So we had like another 1 or 2 people, I think 2, but 1 major person leave again.
I'm excited about
So-
lunches, but it's really a salary issue.
Oops, I keep on.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on food service? Thank you, Marjorie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next up. School Board Auditors Questionnaire.
I panicked on this one. I thought I already gave this to you guys to sign and I'm looking for it and I'm asking Jennifer about it. And apparently it's been a year since I've asked you guys to sign the auditor's report. So it is in there
When are we supposed to have it done?
before I get the audit done.
Okay.
So I'm working on that right now when this came up.
Fine, I just,
Yeah.
you said a year ago and I'm thinking, is it every year that, you know?
Yeah, every year, once a year.
Yep.
And so I think right now you guys just typically review it and then vote to sign on it.
You want to go over?
Oh, I can go over it, sure. So for the most part, it's asking if you have any suspicions of fraud affecting the school district. Have you received any communications from employees, former employees, regulators, or other alleged? Have you identified any specific risks? Have you adopted a universal code of ethics for members and employees to follow? Any related parties of yours had any interest, direct or indirect, in any following transactions? And then on page 4, it lists a couple of examples like sale, purchase, exchange, receiving or furnishing of goods, transfer of receipt, other transactions. Does the board, page 2, am I moving too fast? Page 2, does the board have any concerns over related party transactions? Does the school board formally authorize all disbursements, both vendor and payroll, which is what the manifests are when I come to you every board meeting? How the board stays informed of the latest changes in the laws and regulations pertaining to the district? Does the school board review comparative reports of actual and estimated revenues and appropriations and expenditures? Yes, we do that monthly. What procedures does the board follow in reviewing or using these reports? With department heads, so I basically told them I review the financials with you all, with the exception of July, because we're closing out the financials and preparing for the audit. And in regards to the department heads, that they do come here basically quarterly to report to you. If you did have any questions for them, you could ask them, but typically you go through me and I would go through them. Do we have a disaster recovery plan in the event of loss or interruption of the IT function? Is there a written investment policy? Yes. Does the school board have knowledge of any funds or bank accounts that are not in the custody of the treasurer, with the exception of school activity funds? And no, we do not. Does the school district SAU have any knowledge of any crowdfunding activities? No. And then their newest one, their last.
That's new, isn't it? This part?
So this actually happened last year.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Remember it.
Yep. And so I was reviewing last year's, trying to figure out how I had,
Answered it.
because if I have to research how long each one of you have been here on the board and how many years. So thankfully you were all here last year. So basically I had to put, basically your names and, your years of service. It would like the background, but
I like what you got.
Yeah.
thank you. I don't know how I'm gonna get the background on each one of you, so.
We'll each write you a 14-page bio that you'll have to shrink into 4 lines.
If you would give that to me so I could submit
And
to
you know,
them, I think that would be
Look, minutes,
great.
lived for 47 years to,
All right, if we get a motion, because I need to sign it, is that right? So if we get a motion
Sign it.
to authorize the board chair to sign the,
I will make a motion to authorize the board chair to sign the, member, audit questionnaire.
Yeah.
Fraud form
Yeah.
thing.
exactly.
I'll second all that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Marjorie. You have that with you or do I?
I do. I was gonna leave it for Terry.
Right. Thank you. All right, next up, REA collective bargaining ratification, and I thought I would present this on with a PowerPoint, just so that people at home can see it. Usually what we do is just run through it, but I thought it would be nice if we could do it so that people at home can see it.
Now I know why you're over there.
Exactly. I need all the help I can get. All right. All right. Following our language changes, in Article 1 recognition section, we're deleting section Roman numeral 1C number 2. Under Article 3 negotiation procedure, I don't know why I've done that, but it shouldn't be like that. So Article 3 negotiation procedure isn't correct. That's an error on my part. I apologize for that. Next one is Article 8 terms and conditions, and there are several slides on. This is where a lot of the changes in the verbiage of the CBA were worked on. Raymond High School counselors and ELO coordinators shall be paid to work for up to 10 additional days at their per diem rate. The Iber Homeschool Middle School counselors shall be paid to work for up to 10 additional days at their per diem rate. I think that actually is 5 days. The middle school council, I think, is 5 days. I'll double check that. But this is current practice now. We do this now, and this is just now in the CBA. We're adding it to the CBA. 3 hours and 45 minutes of one workshop day will be solely dedicated to teach a classroom setup, and that will be obviously at the beginning before the school year starts. Open house will continue to be from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. This was an MOU, and that MOU, all the MOUs ultimately will be deleted, and this is now part of the CBA. Next slide, Terry, please. Okay. Parent-teacher conferences, we've changed those. The two of them, they're staying the first one from the fall, the second one will still be in the spring. The first parent-teacher conference will run on a day in the fall from noon to 7:30 p.m. On that particular day, there will be no school. The teacher's day will be the parent-teacher conferences. The second parent-teacher conference will run on a day in the spring from 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. On this day, school will have a 2-hour delay opening. During the parent-teacher conferences, the individual conferences will not exceed 25 minutes at LRES, 20 minutes at the Iber Homeschool Middle School, and 15 minutes at the Raymond High School. Planning time at Raymond High School shall equal in duration the longest instructional period of the day. The high school planning time shall be uninterrupted for at least the duration of the longest instructional period of the day. The middle school planning period shall be at least 60 uninterrupted minutes per day. For the middle school and high school bargaining unit members, the district may require up to 11 45-minute meetings during planning time per year for IEPs, 504, and parent meetings. Just that. What's that?
It's not on there.
Yeah, you sounded looking. I was
I
like,
need the updated one.
that's okay.
All right, thank you. I'll add that currently at the high school, the planning time is 340 minutes. Under the CBA, that will go to 294. At the middle school, it's right now 250. That will go to 300. Okay, you've got that up there. Okay, I've got it. All right. All bargaining unit members shall receive an uninterrupted 30-minute duty-free lunch. This is in the contract now, other than it's specified now to be 30 minutes of interrupted time. The only change that we'll have to make is at the middle school, which is 25 minutes. Teachers who volunteer to serve as substitute during their planning time will continue to receive $45. That's in an MOU, and now it's being incorporated into the CBA. RAM and win time will continue, and it will not be considered a period of instruction nor a non-instructional duty. In the second year of the agreement, the employee will increase the health premium amount from 9% to 10%. The first year of the agreement, the dental insurance changes to Delta Dental Plan 6E. It's currently Delta Dental. I don't remember the particular subset of that or whatever it is, but we are changing it to the Delta Dental Plan. This is a plan that was better for the employees and less expensive for the employees. So less important, as expensive for us. Salary, Article 14, year one increase each location on the salary schedule by $1,900. An average increase is 4.7%. Increase each location in year two on the salary schedule by $2,900. Average salary increase is 6%. Year three, increase each location on the salary schedule by $2,500. Average salary increase is 5%. Year one of the longevity in year one, longevity increases from $1,950 to $2,000. Year two, it increases from 21 to 2,100, and year three, it increases to 2,200. So in essence, first year increases by 50, the second and third year increases by $100 each year. Article 14 continued. Bargaining unit members who provide overnight field trip supervision will be compensated at a rate of $150 per night, which will not exceed $600 per trip. Bargaining unit members who mentor another bargaining unit member will receive $1,000. And that is current practice right now. We're just putting it into the CBA. At the elementary school and the middle school, it identifies what groups will be designated a team leader. The team leader compensation will increase from $2,500 to $2,600. And currently that is not in the CBA. It's being incorporated into it. The same for the next item. At the Raymond High School, it identifies what groups will be designated a team leader. The team leader compensation will increase from $2,750 to $2,900. Duration of this contract will be July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. Article 17, severance pay. All severance payments will be paid out once. And the memorandum of understandings, there are 6 MOUs that will be deleted from the CBA because either we've eliminated something from them or incorporated them into the CBA. And unfortunately, this doesn't have on the screen all the amounts, and I apologize for that. Summary of the estimated cost for 116.5 REA members in 25-26. Salary increases in the amount of $342,306. Longevity goes up $4,821. Team leader increases by $5,963. Social Security for the above, $26,187. Retirement for the above, $35,938, for a total of $415,215, or estimated tax impact of 31 cents per thousand in the first year. The second year, salary increase in the amount of $458,100. Longevity increases of $10,024. Social Security increases of $35,044. New Hampshire retirement increases for the above in the amount of $88,093. Total salary related increases in the amount of $591,250. $261. The health insurance change is a decrease for the district in the amount of $18,468. Thus, the second year estimated costs would be $572,793. The last year of the agreement, salary increases is $406,937. Longevity increases of $4,948. Social Security increases $31,131. Retirement for the above, $78,254. Total salary related increases is $521,270. So that is a summary of the CBA and its language changes and the costs associated. I'd like to thank the REA for their negotiating this agreement. Need to ratify, so I'll entertain a motion to ratify the agreement or approve the agreement.
I'll make a motion to ratify the REA CBA ratification for discussion.
Get a second?
A second.
Second by Steve, discussion.
I'm going to vote yes on this. I mean, we've definitely got concessions so we can move things around where we need to. Tools, everybody knows because it was voted on the meeting before the meeting before this. I wasn't there for the last negotiations. I am disappointed that there was not more consideration for the steps 1 through 5. I think there's a possibility of putting us in a deeper hole with other districts, looking at where their contracts sit and that they're negotiating their contracts this year or next year.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to echo what Joe said. I feel the same way.
All those in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
They tell us, obviously, I'm assuming that they
did.
that passed. Do we know
they
that it
did.
was like unanimous, or do we know what their?
I didn't know the
Their
vote
vote
count,
was to
but
count?
I got a email from Colleen indicating that it passed. She didn't send a vote count. Hold on here.
Oh, they give it to you? I didn't know if we get that or not.
I'm new with this part of it. When it goes into the warrant, does it
71-2.
delete, do we detail the whole thing or do we just put up?
Okay.
The warrant is the article is read. And that's all it is. It's the amounts. Just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah.
When we present to budget committee and then to the deliberative, we will expand on all the information that is
Okay.
included in the CBA.
Yeah. Another
The
question
agreement.
that came up last night that I wasn't aware of.
Yep.
And I don't.
All right. Next up, 2025-26 district calendar preliminary review. The policy states that we need to have the calendar approved or presented to us, I think by the end of the calendar year. Is that? Yep. And it's not ready to be approved or seen because SST calendar drives our calendar now pretty much for the most part. And all 6 schools have not given the superintendents that's had the distinction of doing this. That's one, Mr. Terry Leatherman. So that's why we're not ready to see that. Correct. We won't be able to do anything now, just because it's in the policy. I said to Terry, let's put it on the agenda so that Tony and I both said we didn't want to say we're not going to follow policy. So
When's the next SST meeting?
I don't know, January, to talk about hopefully calendar.
all right, next up. New revised policy, first reading. First one is IKF, High School Graduation Policy. And this one is revised as per New Hampshire School Board Association to reflect the changes in HB 1066.
Rick has reached out to us, letting us know that starting in the class of 2028, social studies requirements are changing from the program of study for the 24-25 school year. Affecting the graduating class of 2028, social study requirements will change to 3 credits, both high school and honor diplomas, and elective credits will change from 8.5 to 8 credits for the Raymond High School diploma and to 9.5 credits for the honors diploma.
Yeah, we did that for the, either the student handbook or
Yeah, we didn't do it.
program of studies. We didn't update it
Yeah.
when we looked at it.
Yes,
Thank you, Tricia.
and Jen.
Oh, okay, and Jeff. Alright. So we'll have to
Amend that.
and update it for the next reading. Any other questions, comments on IKF? Next up, JJIB Interscholastic Athletics. This was the policy committee, Tony, Terry and I asked to have the athletic handbook and athletic and co-curricular handbook mentioned in the policy because that plays a part in the students. So that's why that's included. Questions, comments for JJIB? All right, new revised policies. There were no changes to any of these. We've got, are we gonna do it all at once or do we wanna,
If anyone's.
we've got one that is new, so we'll probably wanna do that different. But anyways, the following are revised and no changes. IC school year, IHAM, health education and exemption from instruction, and then JLF, reporting child abuse or neglect.
I'll make a motion to accept policies IC school year, IHAM health education and exemption from instruction, and JLF reporting child abuse or neglect as presented.
Second, please.
Second.
Second by Joe. All those in favor? Aye, motion passes unanimously. And then the next one is a new policy, JLP, parental notification of an involvement in student welfare.
I need a motion. Or class discussion. I'll make a motion to approve Raymond School District Policy JLP. Parental notification, blah, blah, blah.
Second by Joe. You stop there. Second.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
District personnel will not discourage or prohibit. What's the penalty for that?
Oh, where are you at, Tom? Give me a, district person discourage or bring.
Is there a penalty for that
Well,
violation?
I'm sure that there's just like everything, it would be a talking to, then from the talking to a letter to violation of policy, and then we go from there.
Do we have a default policy for discipline of breaking a policy?
Well, it's progressive.
Yeah.
It depends. So, I mean, if it's intentional, it's a little bit more of a letter of reprimand or a letter of counseling right away. If it's unintentional, just a mistake, more likely just a conversation. And then it's progressive, just like with kids, and we go from there. If it's a really, really bad one, you can be terminated, but you know,
Essentially what you're saying is that would fall, this would fall, a violation here would fall under the same.
it would, again, I don't want to make a blanket statement. It would depend on how, what,
The severity of the.
I'm just saying it'll use that same rubric.
but this is what we typically, this is what drives us. So if you're in a violation of policy, then we have to have a conversation.
Yeah. And I like that it gives the latitude for you to, the discretion open if there is an issue, but again, so there's already policies that protect students that are in any kind of danger of being abused in any way. So I don't know, I mean, it's good that it overlaps there, but yeah. I like this policy.
All right. We had a motion, correct, and a second by Joe, a few times maybe. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right, next up, committee reports.
Student in our schools.
I'm sorry. Tony asked for our students, our schools, and the agenda, where it's placed on the agenda. I'll let.
Yes, I just kind of felt like, hasn't really been an issue yet, but the potential is there for, I don't think that some of these young kids need to sit here through public comment and our non-publics, and in my mind, it should go call to order, posting the pledge of allegiance.
Right.
Then our students, then we go do whatever, so then they can go home and eat dinner or do homework or whatever. I would just like to see it a little before the stuff that could potentially take a long time. And they don't need to sit here for the public comment and listen to us get shredded for 30 minutes straight. That's just where I was at with that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, the only thing I think is beneficial is, and I'm gonna support what you're asking, is that the older students get to hear public input. It's all part of the democratic process, and I think we need to expose people more to that than, and I don't mean that exclusively for students. I mean
Yes.
the population as a whole. But
I mean,
I
I don't
understand where you're
disagree with
coming
that,
from.
yeah.
No,
So-
I agree with you. I'll just say, if those folks, the older kids want to stay, they can
Yeah,
always choose.
they're
to
always
stay.
welcome to come hang out.
They can always choose to stay.
Anybody willing?
I don't know that they're gonna.
Again,
but they
I
could.
understand. I understand where Tony's coming from.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we have to take a motion
I
or are you
don't
just
think
gonna
so.
adjust it?
I think we'll,
I think if we all agree, that's good enough. I mean,
yep.
we set the agendas.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, as I said before, committee report.
Budget committee. I think I've mentioned it a couple times. There were questions about the technology CIP increase. There's a belief that somehow our technology CIP is fully funded. I guess I'd like to find out what that's the statement keeps being made that technologies, whenever we talk CRF CIPs, that the CIP for technology is fully funded, and there is an increase in this year's warrant article. And I know that as we look at our CIP going forward, there are more things. Matt mentioned some of them tonight, that things that we need to put in that will need, that'll be significant expenses, servers, server racks, stuff like that. So I just wanted to bring that up as a question that came up.
Did we elaborate as to how far we're behind on technology?
No, the belief was that technology CRF is quote unquote fully funded, but I don't know what that's supposed to mean because it's a revolving fund based on needs that are assessed year to year. So I don't know where that belief that fund is fully funded. I don't know.
Yeah. It is not fully funded.
Yeah.
According to our final CI approved of October 16th, 2024. If we were to raise and appropriate the correct amount, we would be raising and appropriate $355,150. And we're
not asking for that much. Yeah. So
not even close.
that's where I wanted to be sure to bring it up because again, I didn't have that number handy and for some reason decided not to bring my computer with me last night. That was one. And then I think we've heard the rest throughout the discussion. So, but it's budget season. So there's always talks of what will or won't happen and why in terms of cuts. And unfortunately, it's always conversation about how much can they afford to cut. So I keep pushing to not cut anything, but we know how that goes.
How about I haven't asked because I keep forgetting, the elementary school committee.
It's a solid question, John. Unfortunately, they keep meeting at times when I have a budget committee meeting. So,
But they're on the agenda for the next meeting, I think, the quarterly report.
so I have not been able to attend.
Can we,
Can you ask?
can we adjust that? Like,
Yeah, why is
it's
that?
kind of,
I keep asking.
Not part of this committee?
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
Nope.
Jen's on.
Jen is on it trying to, yeah.
What happens is there's so many folks that they're trying to accommodate so many schedules.
I
I
understand.
think I'm in the minority that
Yeah.
I'm the one that's busy most of the time. So
it's really this time of year, it doesn't go on
Yeah.
forever. It's a
no, and
couple weeks. A few weeks.
I'll have to, and Jen, if you have it handy, I don't remember the next one. If it's possible for me to skip budget and go to that one, I would like to do
I
that.
think it's scheduled for a snow date for budget, so I think you're good.
We just went through a new schedule last night and there are no more snow days.
Okay, so I don't know then.
We have a couple of backups.
Yeah.
That will hopefully just remain backups.
Okay,
It's gotten, there used to be more. There's,
they're scheduled, I think they're on the agenda for the next agenda or something because it was supposed to be quarterly reports.
Yes.
So they're on the agenda for either January 8th or the one after that. Because Jen and I were talking about that. I don't know which date, but they're coming up.
That's fine. Thank you. All right, anybody else for committee? Superintendent's report.
Yep, winter sports are in full swing. Games, meets and matches are happening. The buildings have been rather festive. I think big emphasis on ugly sweaters and headwear this year. Again, budget committee, Marjorie and I are meeting tomorrow to go over the warrant articles. And there'll be a special guest on Friday at LRAS for morning arrival.
nice. I might have to come down.
Bells on or not?
Bells on, baby, bells on. Brand new outfit, spend some money.
I have Friday off, Terry. I might have to come down.
All right, next up, questions, comments for Terry? All right. Correspondence or other? All right, manifest?
Accounts payable tonight, $41,580.08. Payroll, $554,768.52 for a grand total of $996,848.60. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Next, approval of minutes, October 2nd, 2024, public minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the October 2nd, 2024.
In a second, second by Steve. All those in favor? Aye, motion passes unanimously. Non-public minutes of October 2nd, 2024. I'm opening it up because I forgot to open it up and I can't remember. I don't.
We have to keep these confidential, right? Keep them sealed.
D,
What's that?
Albany.
No, E. Do you know about that?
Yes, I do. That's why it's public. I don't think it needs to be kept confidential.
Oh, look, I thought you were saying E
No.
shouldn't be.
No,
Everything but
actually,
you.
wait a second. I don't think.
I don't know. The only one I have question about is D. And I don't think there's anything here. Nope. It is revealing, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I think,
After I read it over again, I'm like, yep.
okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the non-public minutes for October 2nd, 2024 and unseal them.
I'll second for discussion.
Go ahead.
Did we already unseal E? Because I thought we put a time limit when we did the motion, but I could be wrong.
I wasn't there to take a
But
minute.
either way, we're unsealing them again anyhow, but I'm just,
Yeah, I don't recall what we did that night. I'm assuming it's someplace in the public minutes, but I don't think we set it so that it was going to be over 2-3 months or something, whatever it is. So,
I thought it was like 2 weeks.
well, that's what I mean. And we're now almost 3 months into it. So, all right. All those in favor? Aye, motion passes unanimously. Next up, the minutes for December 4th, 2024.
So make a motion to accept the minutes from December 4th, 2024.
Get a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. All those in favor? Aye,
Aye.
motion passes unanimously.
Before we go into non-public,
Yes,
I was fine. There was no motion about for a date for,
there wasn't?
No.
Okay. All right, if we get a motion to go into non-public, please.
I'll make a motion to go in non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, C and M.
I'll second.
Second by Steve. Joe?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Myself? Yes. Thank you, everybody.
You might be on your own.